Kabilule wa okulu. Tenau kishmi. Dilukomi hiv. Kabilu. Steu. Tenadami. De breitha chadatha di hiv lekom wathrabin di mashle chatayin. Matindaun di ehwe ana arth. Costa. Chaya.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are now a Christian channel. Okay, we are now spreading the message of our Lord and Savior, EA, also known as Jesus.
We mentioned the Christmas. We mentioned the Christmas link because it's Christmas time, and you know what that means.
That's why
it's time for Christmas parties where you resurrect
nice
old dead controversies that should be left dead, and then you rub the community's face in it just to make it worse. I'm talking, of course, about a party that DICE just had at the end of year, celebrating their, you know, their
big year.
Their big year.
Oh my God! Oh, geez.
They are literally just like rubbing salt in the wound.
Totally.
I'm not sure what they were thinking. We'll talk about it now, I guess.
It's been an interesting year for good old DICE and EA with Battlefield 5 coming out. Now, the marketing campaign is really where it all started. With a different take on history, if you all know what I mean, with
Very
prosthetic
different.
arms, cricket bats, and the one or two women. And then, of course, there was the wonderful, if you don't like the game, then don't buy the game.
Don't forget you're uneducated, Sam.
Yes, exactly right. You're
also
uneducated, of course.
Right? And don't forget, Sam.
Yes.
How could I look my daughter in the
Oh,
eye
God.
and ask her, Daddy, why couldn't I be a soldier in
terrible.
World War II?
Terrible.
What am I supposed to tell my daughter then? What am I supposed to tell my 6-year-old daughter who wants to play this MA15 plus game? What should I tell her?
Absolutely terrible. Then, of course, it got pushed back out of the window of Red Dead. It's just been one thing after another. And now it's Christmas time, as we said, and they thought, you know what, let's have a Christmas party, everyone, and let's put up a photo that everyone can love and enjoy. And trust me, we're enjoying this photo.
This photo comes from a level designer who was at the Christmas party and then took the tweet down afterwards. Because, like, obviously, if you tweet this out, shit's gonna blow up.
Then Layman's gonna make an episode on it.
Layman's gonna make a video about it, you know? But like, it literally just says everybody's Battlefield. Hashtag everybody's Battlefield. Now, just in case this is unclear, there was a huge hashtag campaign that was pushed out after the release of Battlefield 5, or the reveal, I should say. Not my Battlefield. Hashtag not my Battlefield, right? Which is basically people saying, I don't know what the fuck this is, but it's not my Battlefield.
Totally.
Okay? And it's people basically saying the historical inaccuracies and the way that they're driving political agendas in this game does not work for me. It's not my Battlefield. Now, I will say personally, I don't really care that DICE is going this direction with Battlefield, right? Would I prefer if they had a more traditional, you know, historically accurate portrayal of women on front lines? Yes, I would. I would prefer that. Do I really care that they're doing another way? Not so much. Whatever, man. It's their company, it's their game, they do what they like.
Totally.
But I don't like the way that they are shoving it down our throats, speaking to us disrespectfully, telling us that we are uneducated and all that sort of stuff.
Games allow you to build self-esteem by overcoming challenges. It's about self-worth and self-actualization. Games, we build sandboxes that give people the opportunity to create.
Excuse me, but aren't these just buzzwords that dumb people use to sound important?
If they just said, look guys, we're going this direction, just let us have some fun with it, back off a bit, let us do our thing.
Totally.
I think that would be fine. But I think the way they're trying to push an agenda throughout this entire thing just feels really fucking shitty. And also, I think the way that they try and make people feel like the bad guy for not liking that direction.
Yeah, I think that they definitely feel like they're the crusader of the moral compass right now.
Yeah, totally.
And it's like, dude, chill. You know, chill the fuck out. Like, you know, the biggest mistake I think they made is, of course, they didn't listen to their consumer, they didn't listen to their core audience, and originally the core audience was really just saying, we're not understanding what's going on here, you know? Sure, there was some hate and stuff, but
there's always some hate in everything,
of course, you know?
Always.
You know, and then they just doubled down on it, and they just made it like, of course, what you said before, like, oh, how do I look my daughter in the eye if there's not a woman on the battlefield? Like, it's just been just one thing after another of just like, oh.
And I think there's also, throughout the party as well, the CEO also gave a speech on this matter. And in the background, he actually put up some of the quotes that, you know, were doing the rounds, or they saw on YouTube comments. And just to highlight how toxic some of these comments were, quotes include, "Feminism ruins everything, feminazis are trying to rewrite history, gender field 5, and, you know, probably some other stuff.
Other stuff, of course.
So what you've really got here is the CEO basically, I guess, giving a platform or a microphone to people who, you know, they have views on this game. If DICE doesn't agree with those views, I think the worst possible thing they could do is put them up on a big screen at their Christmas party and be like, "Hey guys, look at what these people said. Aren't they dumb?" Like, I mean, look.
I was just gonna say, like, yeah, sure, they're very extreme trolly stuff on the internet, but I don't think that a CEO should be putting that stuff at a Christmas party. And it's almost like he's waving some triumphant moral flag, like, look at us, everyone, we're above all this. Again, it's just so tone deaf to how ridiculous this whole thing is, and how, you know, unable they are to really look at themselves and go, well, hang on, like, is this really necessary on so many levels? Like, the way that they're marketed, the Christmas party, is that necessary?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's like, I feel in this instance, you just got to take the L and move on.
Totally. Yeah.
Rather than try and take some kind of moral victory from it.
Totally.
As in, clearly, Battlefield is down, in terms of retail sales, it's down at least 50% versus Battlefield 1.
The brand is damaged.
I've seen numbers as high as 63%.
Sure.
Twitch viewership is extremely low. The game is already 50% off in certain locations. And that's only been out for like a week, by the way. You know, there is no buzz around this. It's one of their buggiest launches in history, but that's, I think, kind of separate from all this.
Totally.
But, you know, you've really got to look at this and say, we have not built a good relationship with our consumers in this instance.
Players started to see that. They started to recognise that we were serious about this, and we've made a series of decisions over the past 4 years in service of our player, And, you know, the funny thing is you look after them and they look after you.
It's not a win. And so the answer to that is not to say, fuck it, we'll triple down. At the Christmas party, we're going to make fun of these yahoos, and we're going to put it up on screen, and we're going to be like, guys, we did the right thing. We're leading the world when it comes... No, just be like, all right, cool. People have certain views that we don't agree with. We're here to make video games. We're going to make those video games. We're going to make the best video games possible, and we're going to leave all that shit at the door.
Yeah, totally. And I think the comments that have been chosen to be shown at the Christmas party, for me, it kind of looks like you're saying that anyone that, you know, doesn't agree with the way you've made this game must be toxic. Or, like, must
Sexist
be anti-women or some shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's just ridiculous. And it's so extreme. It's so fucking extreme.
Why wasn't there a quote that just said, while I enjoy Battlefield, I actually prefer it to be more historically accurate. I will still support this product, but I would rather it was this. Where was that quote on there? Instead, they're like, fuck feminazis. Like, what's the worst one we can find, guys? Like, the CEO would have said to his, like, secretary or whatever, he's like, please get me the worst quotes you can find on YouTube, and let's put those up. You know?
It's definitely pushing a narrative
It's
there.
like, you know, for myself, I think you're probably the same, Sam. You know, I don't really care they've got women in Battlefield, whatever.
I hate women.
It's more about the fact that they're speaking to their audience this way. They're trying to make out like everyone who doesn't agree with their portrayal of history in this instance is some sexist, toxic asshole. And that's not the case, man.
It's
just like, I would have rathered Battlefield went a different way.
Sure.
But it's their choice to do it. Just don't make me feel like a dickhead for not like being interested in that choice.
Look, there's plenty of games that have come out that, of course, have women in. Who gives a shit if there is men and women? It doesn't matter, you know. The bottom... I was going to say, really? The bottom line is, sometimes, you know, there's nothing wrong with someone wanting to purchase a product that may be historically accurate. There's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't, you know, it doesn't make them sexist, for God's sakes. You know, and as I said, like with Fortnite, for instance, we've made this point in previous videos. There's no uproar because there's women in Fortnite. Of course not. Who gives a shit? It's the way that the game has been presented to the audience.
Yeah, rewriting certain missions to include women when they weren't really, that didn't happen in real life, and all sorts of things. And I think as well, like, just because, and a lot of people make this joke around Battlefield, it's not historically accurate. They show all these gifs of like people riding horses on top of planes, and like, yeah, that's a good meme. It's really funny. But like, you know, for example, if you changed it so that you weren't really fighting against the Germans, you're actually fighting against the, I don't know, like Cubans. You're like, what is this? Do you know what I mean? Like, just because you change one thing and one thing is not historically accurate, doesn't mean, you know, you can just change absolutely everything. Certain things look and feel a certain way. Like when it comes to gender, when it comes to nationality, when it comes to certain elements of history, you can't mess with those without fundamentally altering the DNA of an experience.
Sure.
And I think that Battlefield has just mixed up a lot of those in that way. And again, that's fine, but just don't make us feel like assholes if we're not particularly interested in it. Don't bring it up now. And I guess everyone's trying to move on from this.
Yeah, like everyone's over it.
Over this.
Like what the hell?
But they want to drag it up and like put it on a fucking
salt in the
billboard
wound.
at
Like,
their Christmas party. You know what I mean? Like that's not the way to do it.
Totally.
Take the L and move on,
Take the L and
guys.
fucking move
Just
on, dude.
move on.
But we won't move on if there's some more news. We'll be back to tell you more news, guys. But until next time,
Bye.
see you, fans.
And so we started every conversation for the longest time and continuing today with, okay, is this good for the player?